We're breaking down everything from this first episode of season 3 of Silo. We're going to give you our opinions, some theories, and review everything from this episode. All that and more on an all-new episode of Unbinged starting now. Welcome to Unbinged, the podcast for the shows, movies, and news you love to binge. I'm Alfredo Brown, joined by Jagger May, and oh my God, everybody, Vignesh Doraiswamy is real, and he's here today. And you know what, Vig? We're going to talk everything from this episode. Why don't you give the spoiler warning?
Folks, we are not going to spoil stuff from the books, but we are going to spoil everything from the first 2 seasons and this first episode of Silo, so watch or beware.
Guys, the way this season starts, filling in these gaps from Juliet's lost memories stuff, a lot of stuff we didn't see on screen. It works as a great recap for people who are like, I don't remember what happened in the show 2 years ago. Well, you're getting it right now, how everything ended. Jag, let's start with you. Reactions, how you felt watching this and the way they're sort of piecing this back together for us as an audience. Did it feel too explainy for you, or did it feel like the perfect way to get us right back into this story?
Full disclosure, Alfredo, you already know this, but for people watching, I am a massive fan of the book series, so is Vig. So I'm going in this with a different perspective, but I think at the same time, I do not like gimmicky stuff like flashbacks, lost memory. Yep. You've heard me talk about, I hate ghost trauma where you see people's, like I hate that shit. At the same time, I'm still interested in the show and the mystery and why the silos are here. So I think literally hearing you and how you took of what this episode is from your perspective, it makes me a lot more understanding of what happened. But I was hoping to really jump back into the action and not have such a harsh slowdown all over again.
Vig, what about you?
You know, Jagger and I have talked about this a lot, and I'm afraid you and I have too. We're big fans of show, not tell. But I think when you create a book adaptation into a TV show, or you got to do something for folks who already know what's happened, right? So you got to stick true a little bit, but then you have to create new stuff. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. I really like Graham Yost. I love Justified. I love the work that he's done in general and that they've done here. I don't know how this is going to land. I think it depends on how they continue to flesh it out. But I like the approach just because it gives me something to think about. I don't recall a lot of this. I was telling you guys earlier, I'll be brief about this for anyone watching. I read the books in like a week 13 years ago, and so much is now coming back to me that I'm having memory issues of my own. I can't tell what's the show, what's the book, what's going to happen. So it's actually similar in a way because I don't remember a lot of those details, but it's been fun to watch.
It's kind of
great.
great.
Alfredo?
No, go.
I could hear Alfredo say, he's like, oh, great start. 2 book nerds who
No. Actually, what I was going to say is like, it's actually kind of great because I think what it does for you as a viewer, even if you haven't read the books, is you kind of feel a lot like Juliet because you've got these questions that you're asking, gaps you're trying to fill. And so going into it, maybe you don't have the action immediately, but what you do have is the intrigue. And as someone who has not been a book reader, I don't want to say not a book reader, even though I've read very few books. I haven't read these. So watching this and it having such a large gap in time between the seasons, it really puts you in that same driver's seat where you feel like you are the character of Juliet a little bit. And now you kind of start to see some more questions than answers after you had this second season that started to lead you to so many more answers. Now you've got this sort of adjacent to being a reluctant or tragic hero where she's almost neither. And everyone around her gets to be sort of the tragic one. And we see that with her fellow engineers not being able to talk to her the way they want because of the AI failsafe, because of everything that has been situated around her. I think that is so incredibly intriguing to see how they play that out.
I love that. Again, I love having this conversation with you, Alfredo, because it really, like, we are Jules right now. And as a reader, you do make changes from book to TV just for the readers almost, so we don't feel like, oh, well, here's what's going to happen next. Sometimes I do like that if it's done well and you get to see and not just kind of imagine what it would be. But at the same time, I am intrigued because I don't really know how they're going to do it. I feel like I know the ending and how we're going to get here, but there is so much change I think in a healthy way, that I'm not going to be bored, and I don't know what's going to happen next episode. And particularly one book, the second book of the series, you can't adapt that to TV to get that twist at all. So like that is, to me, what I'm looking for is like, how are you going to adapt something that is only through someone's mental perspective to where you can't see anything? But when you have screen, you get to see people, you get to see who they are and make these connections. So I like that. I think we should have Alfredo not read more often, because he's like,
I'm great at it.
He's
I'm
our canary
so
in a
good
coal
at
mine.
not reading. I'm awesome at it.
Anti-book club with Alfredo Brown. It's like, hey guys, we're gonna come.
Let's talk about which books we're not reading. It's like the He-Man Woman Haters Club with just a bunch of idiots sitting around talking about books they've never read.
Hey, I bought Dungeon Crawler Carl just to sit on my shelf.
Let's just only find books that have movie adaptations and talk about how the movies are better than the books we've never read. That Jurassic Park, really something.
Lord of the Flies, Piggy, am I right?
But I think they make a good choice here. I like that you talk about Alfredo. I think that in a way we're all jewels, but I think the way we get to see the tragedy unfold around her through the people that she used to be close to, right? We watch them suffer too. So she might be a reluctant tragic hero, but we see, Shirley and all these people like feeling so sad that they've lost this connection to, one of their closest people, and you see the tears. And I think that's sort of a nice way to show us the effect that this is having too, because this is a new sort of change from the book. And I like that they're exploring this, because the mystery is there. I think ultimately for people who haven't read the books, they want to know the mystery and the answers to the mystery. But for book readers, like Jagger said, I want to see some new things. I want to see how you still get to that central theme that the books had, or the central themes, but explore it in different ways. And I think that's where so far they've done a pretty good job, because essentially I'm not bored. I'm not sitting here going, I'm done with this season already. This is a big change. I don't like it. It's wait, this is interesting. I want more.
I'm interested in seeing if they can adapt certain themes to fit where we are, like to be a little bit more zeitgeisty, just because the first was written in 2011. That's far. I was 17 years old to 18 years old. The world is an entirely different place. What's scary is the books are still relevant beyond that. So there's not a lot to adapt, but like the whole AI element, they lean into a little bit more than was ever in the book and stuff like that. So maybe punching it up, they can make this a lot, I would say, scarier as far as how close we are. Because if you guys happen to be here from Paradise, Fallout to now here, I explained this during Paradise. Paradise tells the same story but worse, and it is from the perspective of you just now getting in the bunker, and they haven't learned things of how to run a bunker. Fallout is if that fails immediately and they get out pretty early. Now we're here with Silo. We get the same concept. They've been in here for generations at this point now, and they've gotten very good at bunkers. So I think it works because it's a relevant topic, it's a relevant plot line, and then it can work again because we can update an older story to just be terrifying.
Yeah, I think what they've done well here is they've almost kind of given us a who, what, why for the seasons, where like season 1 is what is outside, what's the big mystery of getting out there, and season 2 kind of becomes who is lying, what's real, and then season 3 is now it's way more existential, at least to start. It's like, why does this even exist? We're going back to the origins of it and what even made all of this happen. And so it's very similar for people who have been watching, like you're saying, Paradise and Fallout, where you're going back. It's like, okay, it feels very reminiscent of those things. But if I'm not mistaken, like this was developed way before Paradise, right?
Yeah, and Fallout is the only one that stands on its own. But and like, it's hard for me to compare Fallout and Silo because they tell two different stories. The same thing, but they're saying two different things, two different lessons. So
let's hop into that and kind of talk about like what makes this different, and specifically what you're talking about with the AI and the way it's being controlled there. Before we do that, Guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, take a second to like this video, comment down below with your thoughts on this season opener of Silo Season 3. Be with us here every single week because we're going to have these videos drop as soon as the episodes release on Apple TV. Thursday nights, this will be here on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify, so you can watch the episode on Apple TV and then come right over to us and make us your companion podcast with that show. And then every Monday, we're going to be here with House of the Dragon Season 3. We've got X-Men 97 happening every week on Wednesdays, and then we're going to have our premium episodes for our members on Tuesdays. So make sure you're here with Unbinged. Also, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, take a sec to leave that 5-star review. You guys have been crushing those. The numbers keep going up, and it helps us out a lot as independent content creators. Now, guys, back to this conversation where we're talking about the algorithm or the AI or whatever we want. Let's just call it the algorithm for the sake of the conversation here. I think there's a lot of questions that we can ask, and maybe there's stuff that you guys know from the book, so I'm just going to ask a question. You're like, huh, we can't tell you, and you push your glasses in. But
Probably.
Yeah, probably. There's a lot here to me, at least just as a viewer looking at it conspiracy theory wise, is one, I feel like the silos are almost like a nervous system where there's got to be a central nervous system or central silo kind of containing this AI. And if it's not an AI, is it still people that are controlling it or someone that controls it? And this sort of leads me back to, why was that AI created? Why does this exist? The existential of it all. What are the thoughts here that we can say without maybe saying too much from books?
The first thing, let's talk about that meeting and the details that came out of that to answer that question, where they said that mechanical, it's just like, it's not a question of how old this is. Like, we could tell based off, all the things that we've done, it's about 300 or 400 years old. So with that being said, what would last long enough to manage a silo for 400 years? I think that's the key. And that goes back to what you're saying. You would have to have, I think, solid management and consistent management to keep everyone in there that long and keep processes. And that goes all the way back to, you remember where they said, like, well, there's a rebellion and we don't remember what happened here and they've erased all things from that. Like, what would do that? And obviously if someone erased something, there would be memory of that. So
I think that it's hard to definitive. One, they may completely change what's in the book. So we have idea, like Jagger and I may think that something is happening, and I think a really well done adaptation. Again, we'll stick to those themes, but change how they talk about it. So I agree, though, right? They gave us some nice hints and details here. We might be wrong, but they said 300 years is how long this has been going on, and it sort of gave me, shades of Matrix, right? Like the Matrix sort of. You have these people. There's periodic rebellions. They're all being hidden. They get. They I forget what they do in the Matrix. Again, I watch this. They like obliterate the Matrix and redo it every now and then. Like, you have to think, how do you keep something going for 300 years? And I think that's the key question. What Jagger just brings up is, how do you keep a generator running for that long? Like, machines fail, right? How do you have pieces? How do you have the supplies? What's in the mines? Why can't they go more than 200 feet? I think that council meeting brings up a lot of questions for us through the actors that are there, which I think is, again, a really good way to do this. So they kind of are expository, but they're not like straight up giving exposition for everything.
Well, they're doing the good job at showing and not telling, even though they're just talking, because it's a very natural thing where you would be discussing, where it's like, well, we're going to review the pact, which means we can start asking hard questions like question 1, what the fuck?
What gives you the right?
Yeah. That's what I feel like they're doing right now, and they're talking out loud. So
whenever I see a show like this or a movie like this, I kind of take the Chris Tucker Rush Hour approach, which is follow the rich white man. And initially I was like, okay, we're following Bernard, obviously. Like, why is he doing this? What has he been doing? Now that he's gone and that's been replaced with Common, which I want to talk about that, I think all your eyes and thoughts have to go back to this. Was he a congressman or senator in Georgia?
Yeah, Donald Keene, or it's congressman.
Yeah. Well, in the show, it's Daniel. Donald is a weak ass name. So.
Oh yeah, Daniel, something like that. I forget. It was a D name. I forget.
Got him. But yeah, we find out that everything kind of tracks back to this, where silos have been around for over 300 years, and we hear about his project in New Orleans regarding the levees and going underground tunnels and drills that didn't disturb the soil. obviously that's how the silos are created. So I'm excited that we're doing these flashbacks. And Jag, like I know you said earlier you don't love flashbacks, but I think you probably agree with me, is I think this is the right way to do it, though, where it is putting pieces together.
Yeah. I'll lie. I am going to give you one book spoiler, but it's not a plot. The second book is called Shift. People were upset that Jules wasn't in the Silo season 2. And I'm like, buddy, you didn't read the book. Jules isn't even the entire fucking book. Like, this goes back to what you were saying. You were like, well, Bernard's gone. I'm like, this still ain't shit. They actually slow played.
We're not used to this on TV, man. Like it felt so Ned Stark to me, but at least that was like a grandiose death. This was, you ended season 2 with like, did he just die? And then season 3 is like, oh yeah, by the way, Common choked him the fuck out.
Yeah. And well, that's like when you imagine you get a book, dude, and you're like, where's Homegirl? And you keep going, and she's like, not in here the entire fucking time. And Shift is based, the entire book is just about how the silos are built, what's in them, everything that's happened. Like, you basically know right away what the fuck is going on within the silos within that second book. And your main character is actually the congressman there. Oh, shit. That was a spoiler, but I think you guys got that.
That's fine.
I think they figured out.
I feel like you guys got it, right?
Yeah, like
I agree
everyone
with Jagger.
there.
Yeah.
I don't generally love flashbacks, right? I think it's a cheap gimmick because it's been done cheaply. But a flashback setup that gives us more questions than answers, I think is a really masterful way to do this, right? I think that's why I like this flashback and why it lands very well. Because sure, I have some connections. I'm like, okay, this guy in the drill, there's something about Alzheimer's and memory. Maybe that'll come into our memory loss. I don't know. But what I do know is I have a lot more questions than maybe exposition and answers, which is why this is helpful. And my assumption as a show watcher would be, wait, is this set 300 years before? Maybe longer, maybe shorter. We don't know. We have to rely on that 300 number as fact. But again, it just leads to more questions, which I think is a good use of flashbacks. And I think they've done it really well here.
And to be fair, I just hate when they're cheaply done. My favorite use of flashbacks is, and I've said this before, Righteous Gemstones, and now Widow's Bay did the same thing. Just give me a whole episode that's a flashback that tells a story. Get it done. Get it done. Don't, because I feel like when you chop things up, sometimes it is good to tell a story linearly, but a lot of times it's not when you do the whole 2 timeline things, and all you're doing is distracting me from, like, as soon as I get into one plot line, we're going to switch, and it's I'm just Michael Scott, snip, snap, snip, snap. So,
Dude, I'll say this, man, like, if there's any one complaint I have about this first episode, it's, and maybe this is just me, and you guys let me know in the comments, is losing Tim Robbins as a character like that, who was so enjoyable over the seasons, to then kind of get replaced by Common in the structure of the show. This feels like a lot of dip on the chip for Common, who I struggle with him as an actor. Like, when I've seen him in other stuff, I've been like, okay, because it's a short period of time and he can be one note because he's a hitman in John Wick, or he's doing different things. Here you're asking him to do a lot in each episode, and that's been my only complaint, is I just haven't loved that.
He's one of my favorite changes from the book, man. I think it's nuts.
Is it just bad character from the book where there was nothing and now you're getting something?
I think he's a good contrast for Bernard. In the book, Bernard is 4 foot tall. Like, Bernard looks like Tim Robbins, but like, when they have the short Joker meme, that that's how he's supposed
comically accurate Wolverine. Got it.
Yeah, but that's not what I want. But he's just walking around being the rich white man, where you're sitting like, yeah, and it's just very unrealistic. Like, this is very much, I think, more realistic of how things done. Everything is off camera, and they talk about it, where like you learn, oh, it's IT that's killing everybody. There is no judicial. Like, that's not a thing. Like, legitimately, the entire judicial thing, there's judges and whatnot, but that's all part of the sheriff structure in the book. I think that's a very good change, because it's realistic that you're going to have your normal sheriff's police, but the FBI is up top, and they're going to come in and fuck shit up. And I think Common plays a very good domineering person. And I personally liked his story, even though it was distracting, of like Bernard saying, dude, you're not going to be my shadow. Fuck you. You're kind of an idiot. And I use you to punch things. Like, I think that was nice. And I think he's good in that role. I'm not asking him to be DiCaprio in this role. And like, and again, I'm black. Maybe he's just auctioned to me. Like, I've never not known Common.
No, Jagger, I think that would have been a problem, right? I think the contrast is what makes it interesting. Yes. We don't need black Tim Bernard, right? Like, we don't need that. We had that already. And I think that's the change. You see Common, you see what he's doing. Maybe you learn more about his potential intelligence, but I mean, in the book, he's barely
He's
there.
literally a sentence.
He's nothing. He's not big. So I like that they do this. And I mean, I've seen Common act well here. He's very one note. And I think that's by design. Jagger doesn't agree with Jack. Do you watch Selma, man? You like Common?
No, I'm saying that he's good at his one note. Like, he's got...
Well, like he can be a good imposing figure. He has the proper voice and he has the gravitas for certain scenes. I just like there was that one scene here where he's talking to Jules and almost like reminiscing with her and saying like, I want to know why you held my wife and child at gunpoint. And at no point through that entire monologue did his register change, like even a little bit. Like there was no point where he sounded friendly or menacing. It was just kind of almost like a table read. And if that's going to be my one aesthetic complaint about the show, then it's a really good show.
Do you not find that frightening? I think I'm hearing an interesting perspective here.
It was not in the way he did it. There's there are actors that can read things monotone without changing emotions at all. There was something about the way he did it where like I didn't find it to be frightening or menacing. It just seemed like I don't know. Maybe you're right in talking about the book because it's supposed to be a guy that's just not smart, and maybe that's just how a guy with a lower level of intelligence would say things. He wouldn't even think about emotions. He would just put it out there and just say it.
Common is in this like Sims is way smarter than like quite literally he is fucking dumb. He is like Luck from Goonies with a face, I think, in the book. But I think I like the enforcer trope character sometimes, and in a way, and how I don't mean I'm literally beating the shit out of people, but like sometimes like I get thrown in that role with my family. It's like, all right, Jagger, you don't give a shit about anything. I need you to go bully your siblings to get them the fuck out of my house. I'm like, bet, on my way. Like that. Like that's why I think I kind of love that character. And on top of that, I do think that the one thing that pissed me off was him bitching. And then this is a writing standpoint. This isn't Common. He's just like, you pulled a gun on my family? Motherfucker, how many people have you killed this month, dog? like you are soft as hell for going around like doing crimes and shit.
No, Jagger, I actually thought that was interesting because we see Common have no remorse, literally push a dude up over the railing so he dies. But then we know that these folks always have a soft spot, right? So you see this guy who's ruthless, who has nothing. But then when it comes to Camille, who also can talk about in the book or not, but Camille and his kid, he certainly has a soft spot. But the fact that he says that with no emotion actually made me terrified because I was like, this dude is straight up psychopath. I was like, he has no change in his tone.
He's going to kill Jules.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, in his mind, that's what I read. I'm like, he's going to try to kill Jules. That was my takeaway.
Yeah, I read Cold Blooded, man. Like, I think the most gangster thing you can do is say gangster shit with no emotion. That's scary. Like, I try to embody that. And then when you get really mean and you get really loud, people are like, stop yelling. And you don't even like really need to yell at all. And have I said I've used this tactic? Maybe.
Like, and this might be a terrible example to use. You know who did this really well is Viola Davis as Amanda Waller in those shitty like Suicide Squad movies.
Hey, she was a good Waller. Like
she was great at it and did exactly what she needed to. She's the kind of person that she would read something off like that and have absolutely like no problem with it, and it was menacing and terrifying because that to me was a ruthless person. I didn't get the same vibes there.
And I think whoever, like the writers, they were like, man, this Sims character, what if we made him Stringer Bell from The Wire? And they're like, can we get Idris Elba? Nope, but we got Common. Okay.
Let's make lemonade. Guys, I want to talk more about this. The way that the relationship with Jules, everyone around her, we are starting to see that the memories are coming back. She's having thoughts and she's trying to piece everything together. We also see that she's ordering soup every day. And I want to know, or at least try to understand, was this the first time that she's receiving a note? Is she used to this because this is the easiest way to continue to get notes? Did she get it one time and she's just like, let's keep getting these notes in the chowder. That's why I'm ordering the soup every day.
They're good in supply.
So I'm very curious about this. I can't. This is what sucks about you guys reading the books is I can't be like, who do you guys think is sending her the notes and why?
I actually don't know, dog.
Okay,
no
cool.
idea.
This is not
This
in
is
the
great.
like. This is what I'm saying. This whole plot line is new. Like Jules comes in right away and she's like, "Hey, this is what's going on. Outside's fucked. Stay in there." And oh, by the way, there's some other people on there. There's another silo, and everyone's like, "What?" And then she's like, they're like, "Well, you're mayor now." And she's like, "Fuck you. I don't want to do that. There's other stuff that matters." And like, "Well, you're mayor and you're going to do it."
Can you record recaps like this? And we'll just post them like everything you need to know before Silo season 3.
We used to do that. You guys used to make
Yeah,
me
it was
do
fun.
that.
I loved it. It was great.
It's just do it the way Luis from Ant-Man does it.
So, but to your question, I don't know, man. It's new. I'm literally guessing it's the supply girl that's going to replace McLean.
Yeah, Orla.
I feel like I'm going to put my TV executive hat on. Did they wait way too fucking long? The actor's like, "Hey, I got another job." Because like McLean's gone, Lucas Kyle's just like kind of fucking gone for no reason. Like there's no explanation, kind of. Like they make story about it, but it definitely feels like, hey, we fired this actor, so now we're gonna kill him off camera type shit.
Did they really? Am I missing that? I thought it was just they weren't in this episode.
Lucas Kyle's missing, and they have this secret society of masked people. Like that's I don't know what that is.
The Outsiders.
I think with Lucas Kyle missing, I think that has more to do with him knowing too much about the algorithm and just like not wanting to be involved in this little
Maybe.
hierarchy
Massive
that's
change.
going on.
Massive
Yeah,
change.
probably.
Like another massive change too is like most people are dead by now. Quite literally, the only one at this point in the book who's alive, like for main characters, is Jules. Like when I saw Knox show up at episode 1, I'm like, what?
Big, you pointed something out, man. Jag and I, when we watched this episode together, we laughed at the credits song. It's not been a good month for needle drops. We'll say that. It's been rough out here.
So shocked. Like I don't even want to complain about it because it doesn't matter. You can just like change the show. But like it was kind of fucking bad, man.
But Vig's putting his cough hat on here though. His cough hammer hat, where he's just like, "Hey, it might mean something." Can you like please break this down a little bit? Because you and I were talking about this before the episode.
Yeah. So the song's from like 1992. I didn't remember that, but I knew it was Peter Gabriel's "Come Talk to Me." This song that he like wrote about his communication breakdown with one of his daughters after like a divorce or something. So there's meaning there, right? And it applies to the show. And then I was reading on Wikipedia or somewhere rather that the whole tour that this was the opening for, he sang the song to open the Secret World Tour. So the song choice is interesting. And I'm wondering, does it mean something beyond just they chose it? Or is it in there for people like us and people on the subreddits who like dig deep into every little thing to see it's a clue? Or is it just like a big F you to all of us? Like, it's a throwaway song.
I just like this fucking song. You're gonna hear it.
It was just like I just
Gabriel
like the song. I
rips.
wanted you to think about it. I like Peter Gabriel. Everybody forgot he exists. I want to throw him and Genesis in there. I'm going to do this. I have no idea, but I love that they did that because it gives idiots like me something to think about and something to talk about. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you think it has any deeper meaning, or is it just a throwaway?
I didn't even know that song until I heard it the first time. I thought it was ass. Like to be honest, all around bad choice. A song. I went and listened to it again.
The tone, the tone makes
Jack's
no
like
sense.
0 out of 10. Will not return. But you know what? It's as shocking and as weird as the tone was in the needle drop itself. I think that kind of explains it then, right? For something to be so shocking and so weird and so out of left field, and then to be like, oh, the title is called "Come Talk to Me," and it's from the Secret World Tour. Like, okay, what are we hinting at here? And to me, I wonder, is it is it Orla and we're talking about down in supply, they know a little more than they're leading on. And maybe there's departments that have always known more than they're leading on. And we've come to find now, at least with Lucas Kyle and like some of these other characters in the past, that they know there are tunnels to other places. And what we had the question of what's beyond the silo. Now we're going to do the Drax thing. It's like, I'll do you one better. Why beyond the silo? And just kind of what else is out there. We could be getting a little X-File-y with this, with this song here, as the truth is out there. So who knows it? Like, why are we here?
I want to ask you, as our canary in the coal mine, Alfredo, do you like brand new main characters this deep in like a plot like this?
I'm okay with it. I think it's there's got to be a gray area, right? Like if it's a new character that really derails the show and kind of takes center stage, that gets a little annoying. Because now you're expecting me to care about a brand new character. I think they have to truly enrich the story in a way that makes me say, damn, I never looked at these main characters or this main plot like that ever before. So if a character like an Orla can come in and make me look at all this a little bit differently, or like, for example, I can't remember her name, but Common's wife in the show, who has really never had a big role in the show. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, damn, you might be like one of the masterminds behind all of this. That kind of stuff I really like, because I think it enriches the plot.
I'm annoyed by Camille. I don't like. She seems very pointless. Like
Camille is Sim's wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's one of those things. I'm like, why did you make this change? What purpose did you make a change? Like,
so she's not like that in the books, is what you're saying.
She's not in the fucking book, man. Like, she's not in the book. It's like again, I bring back, where is Lucas Kyle? Like, that's where I'm confused.
Is maybe she becoming the Lucas Kyle in this scenario?
That's what I'm gathering here. But now we're different here. Like, I don't know, man. Her coming and making center stage is one of the few times where it felt like a distraction, and Shirley and Knox are a distraction. Anytime they focus on the down deep, I do not like it that way. Like, it's just done wrong. Walk is better, but that's just because they got a phenomenal actress to do it, and even then that was too big of a focus. Like, I'm curious what writers think and why they make choices, because oftentimes I think they make choices because they want to make this theirs, and they're changing it just like, all right, I'm going to get this answer wrong so no one knows that I copied homework, instead of actually trying to make something original. So if you were to make like the Thurman change, Thurman is a woman now, famously the book. I told you this, Alfred. I was like, I like that change because, hey, we have so many Southern men who are running things in TV. We don't need another fucking Cecil. Let's, that makes sense to me. So,
Vig, you're the book reader here as well. How have some of these changes been hitting for you when you're hopping now into season 3?
Yeah, with the caveat that this, again, was one of those book series that I read after the entire trilogy came out. And there's like little short stories too. I've read the whole thing in a couple of weeks when I was off. So many details I forgot. In the moment, I was like, wow, this is great. Love this. Going to read this again like once every other year. And then, never again. Because there's just a lot of great content out there. But it's what Jack said. Sometimes I'm like, books are really great and hits for a reason. There's some stuff you can change, but you have to be thoughtful in what you're changing, how you're changing it, and why you're changing it. People like series for their themes, what they explore, what they talk about. And Silo so far is still doing that, but you gotta nail the landing. If you're gonna make crazy changes that aren't in the books, and you don't land the ending well, which maybe big spoiler here, I don't love the book ending, to tell you the truth. We can talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. I almost wonder if the author, when as he's writing the books, he's seeing the commentary, he's seeing what people are talking about. I wonder if he's trying to give the ending that people want rather than what could be a thematically great ending. So I think that's an opportunity, right? The show can take a chance and change how things end, or change the journey to get to that end to make that ending more powerful. I just don't know yet right now. I think too many things have changed, which is an interesting choice. Is it to make it your own? Is it to make it better? Is it to confuse the book reader? I don't know why they've made the choices. And I know we have another whole season after this. And I think that's where we'll see, is this team really great? I trust in Graham Yost really a lot after Justified, just based on Justified alone, to tell you the truth. So I think they'll nail this. But it's leaving me a little perplexed and confused because some of these choices don't seem to have paid off yet.
Mm-hmm. And
right now, at least all the critics who have seen the most of the season have said that everything does pay off. We're being disciplined. We're watching one episode per week. We have the screeners. We could go ahead and watch, the first 6 episodes. We're not going to do that. We're just going to do that with you guys every week. But so far, a lot of the reviews have been that this does pay off in a very big way.
Yeah, to me, they have to make certain changes, and I want them to, and I'm locked in. Like, guys, when we're talking about book here, it's just like me and Vig are living in multiple timelines, and our brain is too full, like our cup's too full, so sometimes it's hard, but I'm locked into this show. I only got into the books because I love this show so much, and I could not wait to get the answer. Like, that's 100% what it is. It's like, okay, I'm not going to wait 2 years. Fuck you, Apple. There's some books out there. That's like, I did like, what's it, Dexter Soul Ansel? Do you see him? Or he's just like, what's going on with season 2? He's like, there are books. Read them.
Yeah. Love him. Love that little kid so much. Go watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms if you haven't seen it, guys. Duncan Egger, just phenomenal. One thing that we get in this flashback where we're seeing the military strike and this strange black substance in the air, this cloud, like you guys so lovingly put here on the show sheet, the book readers know what it is, idiot. Well, then we won't theorize as to what it is, but I think the better question is, how can they do this in a way where it's going to connect to why we have the silo? And let's say this, if you guys already know what it is, do you think viewers are going to appreciate the reason for its existence or what it does to the story? Because my assumption already as a viewer, not knowing what's in the books, is that that's going to be the real reason that we have to go down into the silos and create a whole nother world for ourselves, because we cannot survive up here in this normal world anymore.
Yeah, I think what I'm attracted to the most from the books is not so much the ending journey, but Hugh Howey had so much detail into how the silos were built and what put them in there, and that was phenomenal. Like, to me, the mystery is so good that honestly, that might be why the ending of the books are crazy. Because, like, what I like is being right, but I'm being right in what I think is a unique way, and I feel like I'm getting properly led. Not that I'm just automatically assuming the end, right? Like, I like when I'm like, oh, here's what's next. And he's like, you got it. And then they're following along, not to where, oh, I've seen this before, here's how it ends. Because every detail from like, well, why can't we have an elevator? Why can't we do certain things like half pulleys? Why do we have to pay so much for wire? Sometimes even the show, I wish, spent more details on that.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. What happens to someone in a wheelchair? They're just stuck on their floor, or someone's got to help them up all those stairs?
There is a teacher that's like that, and they stay on their floor.
Porters.
That's
what the porters are for too, right? They carry stuff. They probably could carry people. They showed you 6 people carrying down a dead body, right?
6 hours.
Burn him, so.
6 hours.
Or 6 hours. Sorry. 6 people over 6 hours.
Yeah. And it, like, let's put it this way, for Jules from coming from the down deep to the up top, it's a 3-day journey. For Johns and Marnes, there was an entire week to go down. That's why I was telling you in the group chat, sometimes in season 1, they really kind of break that. They're like, sorry I came down, you needed me? I'm like, that's not a fucking thing. Like, that is not a thing at all.
Yeah, go back to season 1, and I think that it would hit harder if they'd done a better job of that. In the books, it's emphasized how much of a trek this is, but when the mayor goes down, OG mayor goes down and skips meeting with the judge, it hits harder when you know that getting there is hard, takes a long time, and you intentionally choose not to meet the judge on the way down. That's a choice. That doesn't land as well in season 1 when you don't recognize that. You're just like, oh yeah, whatever, she skipped seeing the judge, big deal, whatever. Yeah. But there's not a lot of opportunities to do that. So I think that is sort of done well in the books and not as well here. And I don't know that it would have been that much harder to emphasize that. Like, drop a little nugget. Talk about how it took 6 hours to get the body to the incinerator. Like, show me that it took the mayor 3 days to get down because she's old and it takes her longer than it takes to come up. Emphasize, just like instead of we're not allowed elevators, now, we're going to kind of modify the pact a little bit because we can and because your dad blew up a bunch of stairs. Like, it just, that stuff is a little weak still. I think they could have brought out the beauty of what's in the books a little bit more, and it wouldn't have been that much harder to do. I think that's still a weakness of the show. But we'll see. Again, the journey is what it's about. This is about what's in the cloud. Alfredo, talk to us. We haven't read the book, so be the show watcher. What do you see? You see a plane fly into something, and like, what she just like takes her hand out there and touches the screen?
They don't emphasize the stuff that matters at all. Sorry. I just want to say that. They spend, this is what I'm talking about, Shirley and Knox. It's like, why aren't we talking about why they use porters and not a fucking radio, like cell phones? Mm-hmm. Why don't they use elevators? That is a massive fucking intentional detail, but we're talking about, well, I love you and we grew up together.
Yeah, I was going to say it feels obviously very techno-virusy. The way it moves through the air, and then obviously like all the clues of them being so far in the future but still feeling extremely analog with how they're doing things. I guess that's sort of how it feels, but I honestly could not tell you one way or another, because I think then your brain starts to lead into like, is it extraterrestrial life? Is it something involving an AI system that has made itself into like a nanotechnology thing? Like there's a lot of different ways that my brain tends to go. I think I lean more towards the AI nanotech type thing, but I have no idea. Sorry, I've got like 17 different things happening outside my window right now. I've got construction and lawnmowers and everything, so my bad for that being so loud.
Yeah, well, I can't hear it, but I think that's what's nice, right? The fact that someone who hasn't read the books can think through all the things you just thought through and be like, I have no idea what this is. Because all we do know is there was a dirty
I was
bomb.
really waiting for you to say, like, you can think all these things and be so impossibly wrong.
Well, you might be. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. But that's what people who haven't read the books are doing, right? I think the writers want them to think about this sort of stuff, because all we really do know is a dirty bomb was dropped on DC. Some things about Iran. They were going to go attack a site.
What's
there.
the difference between a dirty bomb and a clean bomb?
Nuclear, radioactive sort of stuff is my guess, in this context at least, based on the fact that at the end of the last season you see the little Geiger counter thing. They're checking people, scanning people.
You think the Geiger counter is real? Or is this more propaganda?
Like, Geiger counters are real. Do you mean
No. I mean, like, in the way that they are using it in particular, where even the congressman is like, does that thing ever turn any color except green? Is it almost something where it's like building up the fear, where like it feels very tropey to this type of thing, where it's like, okay, what's the shadow government that's really running everything, and how does it start little by little by little?
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We'll keep watching. Again, we don't know, right? They can make these sort of changes.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hate this so much because I'm like, well, what do you guys think? Did this happen? You're like, next time, baby. We'll let you know by episode 8.
The challenge is we can't tell. They've made changes, so I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? I have no idea. They made just enough changes in what were in the books for me to be like, oh, you could change everything about this. Or you could just follow the timeline. I don't know, which is what keeps me interested. I think there are enough changes to keep me interested without me being, I kind of know exactly how this ends.
Guys, in the flashbacks, we see something regarding the Alzheimer's Center. Alzheimer's Center. That just feels like a very obvious connection to how Jules is going to get her memory back and how this all worked. One, these type of storylines crush me immediately. I had someone in my family who had dementia, my grandmother, and to watch how that deteriorates someone's mind and they don't know who you are just fucking crushes me. Watching Coco, I sob like a baby. I'm curious. If you lose your memories, what's the one thing that's snapping you right back out of it?
Food. Ooh. Smell of food.
Yeah.
Because for Jules, it kind of seems like soup is helping.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about the soup. Yeah, that'll do it. Rabbit stew's a big deal in the book. So, like, that's...
Dog, I thought you were about to say you eating rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew's good, though. It's called Hasenpfeffer.
You're so Arkansas right now.
That's actually German.
That's not better. The Arkansas of Eastern Europe.
It is, actually. It's funny you mentioned that. And, like, my family's from West Germany. If you know anything about history, not the good one. Not the good.
So then what are your thoughts on whether or not the minions actually could have worked for Hitler?
Man, them niggas did it, man. They did it. They hit Ava Braun's body.
Vic, you were going to say something about it. What's bringing you right back out of your memory loss?
Same thing, man. I think like you mentioned Coco. Honestly, I think music does it in real life. It does it for people. My bias in this is that I take care of patients with Alzheimer's in the hospital, right? And I can see the sort of things that leads them to be really confused and the things that sort of brings them back. And we often put pictures of family and sounds they're used to hearing and songs and try to bring them familiar food. So it's got to be those senses more than memories, I think. It's got to be senses that bring you back to a time, sort of like what we saw in Coco. But for me, it would be the New York Knicks. Play anything about the New York Knicks championship run, and that'll bring my memories back. Because if that'll never happen again in my lifetime. I'm surprised it happened already. That'll be
just give them a picture of Ben Stiller, Julianne Moore, John Turturro, everybody just sitting courtside. That'll do it for you.
He sees Mariska Hargitay and he just takes them right back.
Dun dun.
The X-Men 97 theme song.
Daddy.
I'm like, I'm back.
Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
We're in here. We're here. Boys, anything else we want to add in here to this first episode, season 3, Silo?
Where's Lucas, Kyle, and who are the masked people?
Yeah.
Jag asking the right questions.
I am. They're the only questions. Who the fuck are these men? How do you have a cult in a silo? There's like 10,000 people. There's exactly 10,000 people. FYI.
Any connection to supply?
Yeah. What's the
I don't know, dog, because I don't know who the fuck the masked people are. Like that's like.
Interesting. Something for us to pay attention to going into the next episode here. Let us know in the comments down below. We will be back again next Thursday after the episode 2 of Silo here, season 3. So be sure to join us for that as your companion podcast every single week. As always, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening all the way through. For myself, for Jag, for Vig. We'll see you next time. Adios.